University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill to encourage them to learn African languages. In the Department of African American and Diaspora Studies, we teach Swahili, Wolof, and Yoruba. All these three languages are lingua francas. They are widely spoken in Africa. Swahili has about over 100 million speakers, and Yoruba has about 20 million speakers, and Wolof is spoken in West Africa by about 10 million speakers. So there's this misconception in many of our countries in the West and also in Africa that you can function using the former colonial languages in Africa, that is French, English, Portuguese. But the truth is, most of these languages are spoken by a few people in Africa, maybe in the so-called Anglophone countries, that is countries that were formerly ruled by the British. Only 20% of the population speak these languages. If you go to the Francophone countries like Senegal, Morocco, and the like, only 10% of the population speak French. So the reality is the most functional and practical languages in Africa are the local languages. So that is why we really encourage our students here in the US and also at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill to take African languages. Learning an African language opens incredible doors for you. Incredible opportunities will open up because of learning an extra language. And we should emphasize that African is a multilingual continent. And learning these African languages like Wolof that we offer here, Swahili, and Yoruba will help you to function when you go to Africa. English and French are only spoken, as I mentioned, by only 20% or 10% of the population. And if you go to the rural areas, it's a very small percentage of the people there that actually speak those languages like French and English. And just to give you how this is very true and practical in Africa, when I go with my kids to Kenya, even the most learned in my family, I have brothers who have degrees, find it difficult to understand my American-born kids because of the different accent that we speak our English in the United States or Britain. So the language that they function or they find themselves socially bounded with the family and the people in Kenya is mostly Swahili and not English, although English is an official language in Kenya. So I would encourage everybody here to enjoy the program and take time to go to our website in African American and Diaspora Studies, and also at the African Studies Center to learn more about our African languages program here at the UNC. So welcome you all, and I don't want you to take much of your time because today is a day for our students to showcase of what they do in African languages and also show the resilience of African languages during this COVID-19 pandemic. I will now invite Dr. Samba Kamara, who will lead the panel session of the program, to take over the program from here. Thank you so much and welcome you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Mwamzani, for the excellent introduction and welcome notes. My name is Professor Kamara. I teach Wolof and African literature here at UNC. The first activity that we have on schedule is a panel in which we have two former students of the African languages program here at UNC, and a leading scholar of African languages, but also a professor of Yoruba and linguistics from Fayetteville State University. I will direct my first question to our two alumni, and that is Afi Bello, who used to study Swahili here at UNC. She did also study Lingala, which is another African language that we used to teach here at UNC. And the second alumnus that we have is Abby Warchel, who is a doctoral student here at UNC and who also studied Wolof. So Abby, I am directing to you my first question, which is as follows. Could you please briefly tell us about yourself, Abby, and also the reasons why you had decided to enroll in an African language class?
Thank you so much, Samba. It's great to be back at African Languages Day on Zoom, which is new for us. As Samba said, my name is Abby Warchel. I'm a third-year PhD student here at UNC, and I study African history. In particular, as you might have guessed, because I studied Wolof, I studied Senegal and 20th century colonial Senegal. Before I came to graduate school, I had some experience with Senegal. I studied abroad for a semester at my undergraduate institution in Dakar in 2011. And after that, I've been back and forth to Senegal ever since. After I graduated undergrad, I had a job working for an international development organization. And I got to travel back and forth to Senegal and manage community health projects there. And during my time as an international development scholar, I had a lot of questions that were sparked by some of the things that I saw in the field. I wanted to understand where some of the ideas that we have about international development and charity come from. So I decided to do a career pivot, and I came back to graduate school to study African history. And I had learned a little bit of Wolof when I was in undergrad, when I studied abroad, but if you don't use it, you forget it quickly. And I had forgotten quite a lot of it by the time I came back to graduate school. So I speak French fairly well, but as we've heard today, that isn't enough to really understand the history and culture of the places that you work in. And I wasn't understanding a lot of what was happening around me when I visited Senegal without speaking Wolof and without having a sense of Wolof culture. So in order to relate to the community that I was trying to get a better sense of the history of, I felt like I needed to learn Wolof more in depth. So as part of my history studies, I decided to study the Wolof language alongside it.
Thank you very much, Abby. Afi, could you please address the same question?
Yes, hello everybody. So glad to be here. My name is Afi Bello. Not too long ago, I was trying to memorize lines for a skit for Kiswahili in the language fair, although it was not virtual. But currently I work as a Princeton Africa Fellow for the African School of Economics in Abome Calavi, Benin, and I am also a college advisor. I guess I have to start here. So my family immigrated to the United States when I was 6, so it's fairly young, from Togo, West Africa, and I came knowing, Vugba, that was our native language. However, I was very young, and I guess at that time a lot of Togolese people were trying to, I guess, because Togo is a francophone country, so a lot of parents were focused on having their kids learn English, and that was at the expense of our native languages. So my parents, on the other hand, was like, no, our kids will know, but we have to speak the language of our lands, which I was so thankful for because I speak my language. And my kids will also be speaking. How, I don't know, but it will happen. Growing up, I went to a language academy where there was only Indo-European languages offered. So you have the Frenches, the Spanishes, and all of them. However, there were no African languages. So I ended up studying French, Spanish, and Japanese. But like I said, there's no chance of studying African language. So when I got to college and I figured out UNC offered Kiswahili, Lingala, and Wolof, I wanted to take all of them. That was not possible, but I took Kiswahili and Lingala. The main reason why I wanted to do this was because, you know, like if I had the chance to study a language that was representative of my own, of my people, of Africa, then I should take it as an African. You know, I had the chance to study Eurocentric languages and you know, Indo-European languages, but never had a chance to study African languages. I believe that within a language is a framework for the way that you view yourself and you're able to relate to others. So I need to be able to understand myself as a Pan-Africanist, because that's what I am. I need to be able to understand myself within, I guess, the philosophies, the frameworks of Africans, not just one like type of African, but as many Africans as possible. And also knew that I wanted to work in the continent. So I wanted to be able to connect with people, not on the colonial like linguistic level, but on a more personal Afrocentric level. So studying these languages helped me to definitely do that, and also to pave the way to actually work in the continent now. I graduated in 2019, so it's been 2 years from graduation.
Fantastic. You know, as Professor Mwamzandi pointed, there is definitely a fundamental connection between language and culture. And I'll actually have Professor Ajani speak to that shortly. And I will turn to him just now. Could you please, Professor Ajani, tell us about the African language courses that you teach or have taught here in North Carolina? And more specifically, could you also tell us after that, right, the ways in which Yoruba language conveys Yoruba culture?
All right, thank you very much. I teach currently Yoruba, intro to Yoruba, or what we call elementary Yoruba here, elementary Yoruba 1 and 2. So normally we do the elementary 1 in the fall semester, then we do elementary 2 in the second semester. It's always subject to having enough students who are interested in taking the language. Because if you know anything about Fayetteville State, we are a very small university compared to Chapel Hill. So we don't have as many students to draw from. That's one. Two, we do not have a university-wide foreign language requirement. So that is another thing that's difficult each semester to get enough students sometimes to be able to offer all the languages we want to offer. But anyway, right now, I'm offering this semester particularly, I'm doing elementary Yoruba 1, and hopefully we'll be able to do that the second part next time, maybe next. So that is what I'm doing for the Chapel Hill student. I mean, at least in terms of Yoruba. I mean, I teach other languages too. I teach French, sometimes I teach English. My background is linguistics. So I speak about 5, 6 different languages here. So, but at least 3 of them I teach here from time to time. So that is about Yoruba. I don't know if I addressed that first part of your.
Yes, you did. The second part now.
Okay. So, okay, Yoruba culture, all right? In fact, this morning we just finished a class where I was kind of just reviewing a chapter we just completed about Yoruba culture, Yoruba language around the world. Yoruba is a language that has influences beyond the African continent. In fact, many a times when we talk about Yoruba language, people generally tend to focus on Nigeria. But Yoruba land extends beyond Nigeria. Yoruba land extends into Benin Republic. It extends into the Republic of Togo. And if you want to take it further, if you go all the way to Sierra Leone, there's some very strong historical connections there to Sierra Leone. Also Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who is an eminent Yoruba scholar, is from Sierra Leone. So Yoruba is spoken in places beyond Nigeria. Right now, approximately, we'll put it about 50 million people actually that speak the language beyond Nigeria. I'm talking about there. But Yoruba culture has really gone around the world, mostly through the transatlantic slave trade, because a lot of Yoruba speaking people were transported, into the New World. Particularly, the largest group was transported to Brazil, and I see a very strong Yoruba culture present, particularly Yoruba traditional religions. I think that is the most important aspect of Yoruba culture, if we can call it, in different parts of the world. Right here in North Carolina, we have a place called Oyotuji Village in South Carolina, where you have people practicing Yoruba religions, Yoruba way of life, and so forth. So Brazil, Trinidad, Tobago, those are places you find influence. Cuba, very strong influence of Yoruba there, particularly Yoruba religion, Yoruba culture, music, and so on. Then when we come to the United States here, also in Florida, because I did my doctorate at the University of Florida, so I was there for many years. I taught there a little bit before coming here. We do also have a Yoruba community in Florida, in Archer, Florida also. So there is, so Yoruba can be found in influences, Yoruba cultural influence can be found in various parts of the world, all over the African continent. In Europe, we have very, very significant populations in the UK, and in America, most of the big cities, Houston and other places, Maryland, and beyond, actually. So I don't know.
Very good.
Captures,
It does. We definitely cannot exhaust the diasporic significance of Yoruba, in Americas or even in other parts of the world. So that's very good. You do give us that history briefly here. So I'll turn to our two alumni now again and ask if you could please tell us about the ways in which your African language learning experience at UNC has helped you in your academic endeavors or in your career path. And anyone can start, Afi or Abby.
Hello. So from my experience with learning African languages, I had the chance to study Kiswahili in Tanzania through the Foreign Language and Area Studies Fellowship, the FLAS, where I went to Tanzania with the Howard University study summer study abroad program, these acronyms. And while that was the first time I've ever studied abroad or went back to the continent, and I don't think I would have been able to done that at that time had it not been for, I guess, the door that Kiswahili opened for me in funding and in connection. But I had the chance to go back to the continent where I was able to basically envision myself on the continent again and just, I guess, make connections that allowed me to be able to come back the next year as an intern for the Students for Students International. It's a nonprofit at UNC that through which I was able to work with an NGO there that worked to support girls' education in Zanzibar. And because I knew Kiswahili, I was able to connect to the students that we work with. I was able to, so one part of our responsibilities was identifying scholars and working with the girls to better understand their situations and do family and home visits. So I was able to speak with the people in their language. People say that, in Tanzania, English is spoken, yes, but it's not like as spoken as Kiswahili. So that really aided in me being able to make connections with the scholars and the people that I work with, the stakeholders, and also just getting around, like when people look at you and they realize that you don't speak the language, that's when they start charging high prices, ridiculous prices. So when they saw that I spoke the language, and that made me look like I knew more about what I was doing. So that helped in that aspect. So after that experience, I knew I always wanted to work in a continent, but I just didn't know like how, and like just needed some openings to be able to actually see and place myself there. So that was very I guess like critical for that. So after I graduated, I was able to build on that experience and use that to, I guess, pursue a professional fellowship on the continent through the Princeton Africa Fellowship, where I am currently, like I said, working with the African School of Economics and learning more about, development on the continent through the lens of education and Pan-African education at that. So as you see, I'm still a young professional trying to figure things out. So these languages really just open doors for me. Also, let me speak on Lingala because I can't leave out Lingala. And shout out to my professors. I really appreciate you all so much. Dr. Mamzandi, Dr. Funzu, like, thank you all so much for just sewing into my life like that. And it's sad that I cannot take it well off. But every now and then I try to look up words and all. But with Lingala, I remember, going to an African market in Charlotte, and the lady was from Congo. So I said, Nsangonini, that's like, how you doing in Lingala? And she was like surprised, like, what? Like, I thought you were Togolese. But yes, I could also speak Lingala, like some. So yeah, it's definitely been of value to me academically, professionally, and also socially. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll just speak quickly because I'm a current graduate student and I'm still learning how my African language learning will be benefiting my academic and career goals. But I just wanted to say quickly that I received, a part of it's really practical, that I received a FLAS fellowship to be able to study Wolof alongside of my history studies. So I was able to have the time and energy to have some Wolof language experience. And I'm planning to go to Senegal to do my long-term research. And so Wolof gave me the opportunity to be eligible for these grants and sources of funding that not everyone has. Not everyone knows Wolof, even those who study Senegal. So I have an edge in that way. And I think that learning a language is important at one level to be able to relate to the community and to know the right things to say. And like Afi was saying, how to express things in ways that aren't using colonial languages. But I think it also, for me, it's really valuable because I think that it gives you, learning an African language and learning any language gives you a sense of, it gives you a window into seeing how people make sense of the world and how they think. And I think about it, I study colonial childhood in Senegal. And so I think about the Wolof word yar, to bring up a child, to educate a child, but it also means to discipline a child and the rod that's used to discipline a child. So knowing that word, it opens up a whole new level of how, for me to make sense of how people have made sense in the past of their relationship to children and bringing up children, and the fact that all of these words are connected just gives me a better sense than just using a French borrowed word or a French projected word. So as a scholar, learning an African language has really helpful communication elements, but it also gives me a better insight into history and culture.
Thank you very much, Afi and Abi, for speaking to the significance of these African languages to your respective careers and academic path. This is very true. You know, I always like to tell my students that there is definitely a way in which Africans have Africanized European languages. That is a fact. If you read Chinua Achebe, if you read Mariam Abba, if you read Aminata Sofal, what you see is that there has been that historical, but also cultural way in which Africans have just appropriated European languages. But, you know, what Ngugi wa Thiong'o tells us, on the other hand, is that, I mean, African literature or African media produced in European languages feeds European languages in a way that it doesn't forcibly feed into African epistemologies, meaning systems of knowledge production and knowledge transfer. So what that means is that I think we are sort of, as Africans, caught in a necessity to really be multilingual, right? And unfortunately, if you go to a country like Senegal, Wolof is not taught at the primary school level, and that is problematic, right? Thank you very much again, Fi and Abi, for speaking to that. And I will turn this time around again to Professor Ajani and to ask, right? So Professor Ajani also teaches Yoruba for us online here at UNC. And I would like you to please, if you are speaking to these American students, and trying to get them to really consider the significance of Yoruba language as an instrument of research, as a tool of connecting with that part of the African continent. What would you tell them? What is the significance of Yoruba in that sense? Professor Ajani, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so, excuse me. So what I normally tell my students here is the same I'm going to say here to the Chapel Hill students, why is important. First of all, there is a historical reason, because we do have a lot of Yoruba speakers who were brought over to America and other parts of the new world, okay? And Yoruba speakers have come in different waves, first of all, through the transatlantic slave trade, then Yoruba, a lot of Yoruba people who came here after that to seek opportunities, educational, business, whatever, professional. And then you have more recently, a lot of Yoruba people coming into the United States, again, because of economic situations back home that are not very good, you know, for scholars, for business and so forth. So a new wave now has come here of people, mostly professionals, professors, doctors, nurses, and just name it, just to seek better opportunities. So as a result of that, we've had really waves and waves of Yoruba speakers really coming to the front door of the United States of America. And a lot of Yoruba kids now growing up in this nation, in this culture. So even a knowledge of Yoruba, with knowledge of Yoruba, you don't really even have to step outside the United States really to have some experiences with the Yoruba language because of a good number. I don't know the numbers right now, the current numbers of Yoruba speakers in America by itself. In the military, I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina here, where you have home of Fort Bragg, the largest military base in the US, if not in the world. A lot of soldiers, tons of soldiers here who have gone to different parts of the world, including Nigeria and other places where Yoruba is spoken. And we have a lot of military students on this campus. And I do have from time to time military students in my classes. Why? Because studying Yoruba in the military really gives you an edge. It gives you an edge. And I know a good number of those soldiers who have taken my classes. Number one, they get more pay. They get extra pay just for taking the language. They get extra pay for that. They get some extra assignments. They're able to be deployed to places where if you do not have that knowledge, you cannot be deployed to. There is the CIA, there's the FBI. They've tried to recruit me on so many occasions since I've been here, both the CIA and the FBI. They tried to recruit me. But some of my ex-students, particularly from the University of Florida, because there we had law school, we had medical school. It's a huge university with over 50,000 students or so. So I've had a good number of my students working with the United States military and security agencies. So there are so many areas you can branch to. Scholarly work, you can study Yoruba all the way to the PhD level, okay? In Nigeria and probably in some other places, we go to England and other places. So there's a lot of, it provides opportunities, does it? Provides opportunities for jobs, for profession, business, and just name it, including the military. Just trying to be brief there.
Yes, excellent, excellent. No, this is very good, Professor Ajani. I think we are about to reach time. And then I will throw in a last question for all three of you. First of all, let me start with our two alumni. So there is a group of students listening to you, and some of them are hesitant about taking an African language class. So what pieces of advice do you have for them to sort of comfort them, or at least to attract them towards this program?
Oh, is that question to me or to?
To our two alumni,
okay.
Afi and Abi.
Okay.
I can start. I just, one, learning an African language is fun. I found it more fun than my beginner French classes. There's a lot more speaking and engaging. And I think that the other thing about an African language is, I have found anyway, is that when I go to Senegal, the Wolof speakers around me are so generous with listening to my poor Wolof skills and giving me the opportunity to practice and make mistakes in ways that the French are not always like that. So I think that's, it's just, I think it's a fun experience to learn at one level. And then the other thing I would just say is that we're really lucky to have African languages taught at UNC. They're not taught everywhere. And I learned a little bit of Wolof when I was studying abroad the first time, but it was with Peace Corps instructors, and that was great and helpful. But sometimes you just learn what Peace Corps workers learn. You just learn public health words and development words. But at UNC, I was really fortunate to have a host of instructors that were really knowledgeable about not only, how to communicate, but really how to teach the language in a very rigorous way, and to teach the culture alongside the language pieces. So I felt like I really got a full breadth of knowledge when I learned Wolof here at UNC.
Thank you, Abi. Afi?
Yes, I definitely agree with Abby in this. My father always told me that speaking more than one language is like having different brains. And I definitely agree with that because, like we've all been saying, like speaking another language is basically having a different way to look at the world, to relate to yourself and to others. Like within a language is a cultures, many cultures, philosophies, science, histories, oral traditions that otherwise would not be, transferred to the other generation and to others. So you won't lose anything by learning an African language, a language in general, but especially African languages, because a lot of our traditions have been oral. And when you actually, I guess, delve yourself into a language. You can never learn a language without learning the culture, right? But when you delve yourself into these languages, you learn so much about histories that have been exempt from your textbooks, that have not been taught as the curriculum in your schools. So you are providing yourself of knowledge of so much more, especially for my Africans on here. Like, you are giving yourself what basically has been people have attempted to take away from you. That's a reclamation of your power, and a consistent declaration of your power. So yeah, it's very empowering. Personally, for me, it was very empowering learning different languages from the continent. There's things that just are not translatable, as well. So, for example, in my own language, it's called Ewe in English, but that's the incorrect transliteration of our language. But there is a word for a smell called emumuna. There is no concept in English that I can use to explain to you what emumuna means. I've tried, but people just didn't understand, So that's a new way that I'm able to, I guess, understand this world, that other people won't be able to do because they don't speak my language, But yeah, like, learning languages is very valuable, opens doors for so many opportunities. And I remember back in my experience, I'm gonna wrap this up, don't worry. I remember I was this close to actually quitting Kiswahili, very close. Sorry, Professor Mamzani, but I was this close. You know why? Because it just wasn't, like, I was used to learning in European languages that were, you could look at French and look at Spanish and be like, oh, this means the same thing, they're very similar. That was the background I was coming from, in my own language. I didn't learn it in school, but it wasn't very similar to Kiswahili. It wasn't it's not as similar to Kiswahili as Kiswahili is to Kinyarwanda or something like that. So I found it kind of difficult at first, but after giving myself some time, just putting in the time and effort to speak it and actually engage in the material, I was able to grow, and having a chance to study abroad, that was even more amazing. So yeah, give yourself time, make sure you put in effort. Things don't just come to you. You have to, work for them. So definitely try your best. You got this. And yeah, this actually, lastly, this opened the door for me to be able to actually found this initiative called Learn African Languages. You can find us on Instagram, shameless plug, Learn African Languages on Instagram.
Nice.
But we're dedicated to promoting the knowledge, study, and discussion of African languages. So look us up, find out more information about us. Thank you so much, y'all.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And maybe to finish here, I didn't want to abuse the generosity of Ada, who is distributing time here. I will ask Professor Ajani to share any final recommendations about African language instruction and learning.
I think Afi and Abi have done such a wonderful job, really, that I don't think there's more I want to say rather than just emphasize, because I know we're out of time already. Just to re-emphasize some of the things they've said. Abi, spoke about fun. Okay, right now, at least currently, I teach Yoruba and I teach French. And my Yoruba classes, I have to just admit to that, they are more fun than my French classes. My French classes are always huge, big. Everybody's taking French, large classes, full. The Yoruba class generally is smaller. We're able to do more. We're able to do a lot of things that I cannot do in the French classes. Okay, just because of size and so forth and limitations. We're able to do a lot. So it's more fun. It's more fun. My students generally do tell me, they do say it in the evaluations that Yoruba classes are actually way more fun than maybe Spanish or French classes and so forth. So I just wanted to just emphasize that what she said there. It's not taught everywhere. That's another comment both of you have mentioned. Yoruba is taught in very few places. Not every university you go where you find, sorry, and I'm talking about African languages, not general, not just Yoruba now. Just very few universities teach African languages. And the last time I did a paper on that, I think there were about 35, 36 universities in the US where Yoruba is taught. That's very few compared to how many universities we have in the United States. So it's an opportunity. It gives you opportunity to do study abroad, go overseas to these countries where the language is spoken. It gives you an edge. It gives you an edge in a very highly competitive job market. So those are some of the things. Gives you opportunities, opens you to more opportunities, opens you to new ideas, and so on and so forth. Just any language, this is not just talk about African language alone, but any extra language you learn opens you more, gives you more opportunities. But with African languages, since the field is not as huge, you learn an African language, it puts you. I get emails from ex-students who actually who had some opportunities in the area of their jobs and promotion just because they took an African language at the university.
Fantastic. Opportunities, competitivity, that's what comes with taking these African languages, especially in this quite lousy job market. Thank you again, Professor Ajani, our Swahili and Lingala alumnus, Afi, and our Wolof alumnus, Abi. So we will start here with the panel, and then we'll move to the next activity on the schedule.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Thank you.
So Ada, I think I should be transitioning to the next, right?
You will run the cultural showcase and then hand over to Professor Bilia.
Awesome. So we have here at UNC Fulbright language teaching assistants who actually come to UNC in normal circumstances to teach their respective languages. But because of COVID, one of them, the one from Senegal who teaches Wolof, has not been able to make it over here. So she teaches Wolof from Senegal online. But our Yoruba FLTA is here, and FLTA is Foreign Language Teaching Assistantship. I myself was an FLTA back in 2010. So part of their mission as FLTAs is to serve, quote unquote, as cultural ambassadors of their respective countries. So in order to allow them to do that, we have this culture show sort of session in which they will share PowerPoints and talk about their respective cultures. So Mohsinatu Toure, that's the name of our Wolof FLTA, and Segun is the name of our Yoruba FLTA. So I'll hand it over to them let's start with Segun to talk about Yoruba, and then we'll move to Mohsinatu.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me just permit me to share my screen. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so my name is Fabio Loashegun. I'm a Fulbright FLTA here at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And I have just a few minutes to make this presentation on Yoruba language, Yoruba people, and the Nigerian, like Nigeria as a country as a whole. So this is what I have here is Nigerian flag. We have the green, white, green. That is Nigerian flag for you. The green signifies the richness, the vegetation, the agricultural flowers of Nigeria, while the white signifies peace and tranquility of the country. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic and culturally diverse federation, which consists of 36 autonomous states and the Federal Capital Territory. Modern Nigerian date from 1914, when the British protectorates of Northern and Southern Nigeria were joined. And The country became independent on October 1st, 1960, and became a republic in 1963. And English is the official language. And Nigeria has more than 250 ethnic groups, and the majority include Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. And so basically, I'm actually going to be doing my talking more on the Yoruba thing. So this is map of Nigeria, where we have different places, different parts in the country. And the Yoruba people are an ethnic group that inhabits Western Africa, mainly the countries of Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. And the Yoruba constitute around 47 million people worldwide. The vast majority of this population is from Nigeria, and where the Yoruba make up 21% of the country's population, making them one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. And most Yoruba people speak the Yoruba language, which is the Niger-Congo language, with the largest number of native speakers. The Nigerian culture is actually an oral tradition where the majority of people are native speakers of the language. And the number of speakers is roughly estimated to be about 30 million people all over the world. And literal Yoruba is the standard variety taught in schools and spoken by news readers on the radio. It is mostly based on Northwestern Yoruba dialect of the Oyos and the Egbas, and has its origin in two sources, like the one of Yoruba Christian missionaries, as expanded by Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who himself was a Sierra Leonean captive of Oyo origin. And Ife, the image I showed Ife, this Ibro's image of Oni of Ife. Ife is known to be as a spiritual homeland of the Yoruba, and the city was surpassed by the Oyo Empire as the dominant Yoruba military and political power, sometimes in the 14th century. In most recent decades, Lagos, where we have some sense of civilization, has risen to be most prominent city of the Yoruba people and Yoruba culture and economic influence. Noteworthy among the most development of Lagos were uniquely styled architecture introduced by returning Yoruba communities from Brazil and Cuba, known as Amaros or Agudas, as the case may be. Now, what we have here, the image we have here is the Eyo, Eyo masquerade. Masquerades are an important feature of Yoruba traditional artistry. They are generally known as Egungun, or you can just call them Egun. And they, in fact, in the Yoruba masquerade, connected with ancestor reference or to the ancestors themselves as a collective force. And this is one peculiar aspect of the Yoruba people. The Yoruba are traditionally very religious people and are today pluralistic in their religious convictions. The Yoruba, some are Christians, some are Muslims, while some just practice the traditional religions, where we have Osun Osogbo, like this one is Osun Osogbo. We have the Eyo festival, we have Orisha, and there are many gods in the Yoruba land. We have Shango, we have Ogun. This is a particular, let me say, philosophical aspect of the Yoruba land, where we have Oduifa, that is the 256 Odus. Basically, this is just a concept for divination, where people just go to check like something about destiny or something. And one amazing fact about the Yoruba people is the fact that Yoruba have the highest training rate in the world. Most record of twins in the world are being ascribed to the Yoruba people, and this could be as a result of high consumption of a specific type of yam containing natural phytoestrogen, which makes this thing to happen. One observation of the Yoruba people when we have visitors in the Yoruba land is the rich, exuberant, and ceremonial nature of their culture, which is made even more visible by the urbanized structures of Yoruba settlements. These are occasions or venues to experience the richness of the Yoruba culture, where traditional musicians are always on hand to grace the occasion with heavy rhythms and extremely advanced percussion like this, where we have the gongon drum, we have the bata drum, and so on and so forth. The Yoruba take immense pride in their attire. This is a female attire. We have Alari, we have Sonyo, and the Yoruba actually believe that what you wear actually determine your personality. Now, this is jollof rice. I know most of us must have seen jollof rice. We have Nigerian jollof rice. Yoruba, Nigerians generally are very well pronounced in their food. This jollof rice. We have some Yoruba food like inyo. This is moi moi. This is pounded yam with egusi, and this is amala. This is amala with obe with obeata and obewedu. And this is Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who is so renowned, or who is a renowned nationalist, known for fighting for independence in Nigeria and always been there. His face is on the 100 Naira notes in Nigeria. And this is Chief Ebenezer Obey, and this is one of the icons for Yoruba folk music, which perhaps became prominent kind of West African music in Afro-Latin and Caribbean musical styles. And Yoruba music has left an especially important influence on the music of the Trinidad, the Lukumi religious traditions, the cultural practice in Brazil, and even the music of Cuba. This is King Soniade, and this is Lagbaja. This is Beautiful Nubia, and we have Chief Obafemi, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who was once the president of Nigeria. We have a lot of people who came from the Yoruba land who are very prominent. We have Wole Soyinka, who won the Nobel laureate, and we have a lot of people who are making names in the music scene: Burna Boy, Whiskey, Davido, Olamide, and so on and so forth. So.
Nice.
Yoruba people is rich. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much. Very rich cultural repertoire, Segun. Musinatu?
Okay.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Greetings from Senegal. Thank you, Dr. Samba. Thank you to the African Studies Center for making this opportunity, giving us this opportunity to share our culture as FFDS. So I'm going to share my screen. Sorry. Good. So today I'm going to talk about one cultural aspect in Senegal, how people use food to show hospitality, to build up strong social relationship inside the family and between religions, and how also people use mealtime to educate children. I'm going to talk about the common food we have in Senegal, mainly the 3 meals. You know, in Senegal, it is really important to have the 3 meals, like the breakfast, the lunch, and dinner. People take breakfast before going to school or work. They will stop what they're doing to have lunch, and when it's back home, everybody will gather to take dinner. So for breakfast, people often have a loaf of bread with a cup of coffee. We see coffee, it is called Café Touba. We often see in every corner in Senegal, you see someone selling Café Touba. So there are some who prefers to have some cakes, they beignet, but others would prefer a traditional breakfast with porridge, lach, So they pay great attention to breakfast too. And the Ramadan is coming, and during Ramadan also people gather to take breakfast. This is in the mosque where men often their breakfast. Women and the kids will be at home also for breakfast. So the most common foods we have for lunch are here. So we differentiate between benichin, that means a meal cooked with one cooking pot, like chep, our national chepjan. When we talk about Senegal, the first thing we think of Senegalese food is the chepjan. It's a bit like the jollof rice, but there is some difference. So you have the chepjan and the chebugej, rice and dried fish. And you have what is called the nyari chin. That means they are meals cooked with two cooking pots. You have the mafe. It is rice and peanut sauce. You have the soup kanja cooked with okra. You have the yassa. It is with onion sauce. It can be cooked with chicken. You can cook it with fish or meat if you want, if you prefer. You have also other dish, but these are the common one. You have things like domoda, which is also nyari chin. So I said that meal is really mealtime, and sharing food is something that is used to strengthen relationship. We can say that the cohabitation and the social stability we have in Senegal is part of the sharing that people have. So in the family, mealtime is the time where people socialize. They gather, they discuss, they laugh, they tell anecdotes. So here you have people taking lunch, and at the end of lunch, they gather so to have tea. This is the tea time. And when you have, generally we have large families, we don't eat separately in separate places, but we all gather around the big bowl and share. And we often eat with our hands rather than using spoons or forks. And in large families, we generally separate the bowls, like there is one for men, another for women, and one for children. And it is a time when we have to monitor, to educate kids to see how they behave, how they eat. There are some stereotypes like kids should not talk while they are eating. They should not touch the middle of the bowl. So for example, when there is meat, the older people would cut for them. They should not go in the middle of the bowl. And food also, another way food is used to strengthen relationship is between the Christians and the Muslims. They are the main religions we have in Senegal. And there is really a peaceful cohabitation. There is harmony between Christians. And sharing food participates somehow in that relationship. You know, Easter is coming, and here you have what is called ngallah. It is a sort of peanut pudding used made of peanut. And during Easter, the Christian people, they make a lot of gala that they share with their Christian friends and the neighbors. And the same way also, we have Muslim peoples during Tabaski. That means the sheep celebration, when the sheep sacrifice day, the Tabaski, they cook meat and they share, or they invite their Christian friends, the neighbors, they share with them. And when you go this day in some social media, you can see that Muslim peoples, they start joking about the Ngala, asking for their friends and for Christians to not to forget to share. Because as you know, with the situation last year, we didn't have the opportunity to share Ngala with them due to the pandemic. So people are asking for Ngala this year as things are getting better.
Right,
And the last thing, is it time? Samba?
You can wrap it up quickly.
Okay, great. So these are also a set of common foods we often have in dinner. And dinner is the most time we gather because people go to work, others go to school, but in dinner, everybody is around in the hall and sharing meals. Here you have chere, this is couscous, you have mbahal, and some dibi. Dibi is typically Senegalese grated meat. And then you have the lah bisap, which is a sort of porridge, topped with meat and tomato and things like that. And then you have the lah. Somebody will know that, sure. The lah, so thank you so much, and
thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, Samba.
Thank you very much to our two FLTAs, Segun Fabiyi and Musina Tuture. Now I will hand it over to my colleague, Professor Ira, to moderate the next sessions.
Thank you so much.
We're running behind time,
Okay.
So we would have to really move through the agenda and stick to.
That's right. Thank you so much, Dr. Samba. And I would like to thank you so much for the knowledge that you've acquired from the other presentees. And now I would like to quickly move to the case presentations of our students. And the first group that will come in is 406, Swahili 406. We have two students who will be presenting that, and they have some work to share with us. So I welcome them. Please take the floor.
Hello, everyone. We will be sharing a poem about Corona. Corona imekuja kutustua, dunia yote imependuka. Hata kama unajisikia upweke, usiogope, tupo pamoja tushinde.
Shule zote umefunga, uchumi nao ukavunja. Sekta ya afya ukashinda kabisa, na nyoyo zetu ukavunja. Ewe Corona, huna huruma.
Lakini huu sio mwisho wa dunia, familia zimeungishwa pamoja, na mataifa yanakuanga pamoja, na utendakazi wa viongozi ukamulikwa.
Lazima tukae mbali, kutofanya onyesho hujali, kuvaa barakoa, itakukinga na virusi vikali. Pia kuosha mikono, inapunguza corona.
Tunaamini kwamba chanjo itageuza ukurasa. Tujipange kwenye laini. Utumie chanjo kulinda baba na mama. Nadhani chanjo ni salama. Chanjo hii ni kwa ajili yako. Kwa hivyo, tuwe na mwanzo mpya mzuri. Asante. That is our poem.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Emily and Diane. Now for the other attendees, I want us to give them a clap by doing this. That is how we shall be clapping for each presentation. Let's do it together. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's move on to the next presentation. And here we have a wall of 402 taught by Professor Kamara. This is a live kit. Welcome, sir.
Oh, hello. We will be presenting our conversation in Wolof today. Salam alaikum, nangen def sonai, nakamu.
Nugi firek, wow, lan lonoy def chibisu magalu laki afrek binak.
Hamaguma. Jara, yaw nak lo khalat?
Dedet, nanu watan tim buru lek.
Lek? Dedet. Nanu watan chi sama ashbi.
Ha, dede kela. Ken du fi tuglumat, puki simili di deglu nui wah chisi hatch.
Wow leginak. Lan lonoy watan cha bisba. Ndah amga yenen helat yujin.
Hana nuwatan chiraya Senegal bi?
Lunu wachi rayabi.
Chi melukan ambi aklan.
Mun nanu wachi melokan biak chimbin mitamit. Jara, raya Senegal, nakalamel?
Raya reru Senegal nyenti wetla. Raya bi amna nyenti patch. Amna patch buneta. Patch bumbok ak ben patch buhonk. Tamit raya bi amna ben bideo buneta chi degu patch bumbok bi. Wow. Raya reru Amerik nakalamel?
Raya Amerik amna fukak net patch yutet. Jerome nari patch yuhonk ak Jerome ben yuwech. Chikau, chichamon, amna ben netiwet bubulo. Chibir, netiwet bi, amna Jerome fuki bidio.
Wow, legi. Fatelen waktan wu chirayo yek haji. Nanu waktan chi mbirum corona. Mo sanal adina bite.
Sonsiama, ndak nakunga?
Dede naka guma. Wante mam bindu na dihat. Yana dara. Baham nyakunga.
Dede mantami nakunguma. Wante benduna yau na Kayla?
Wow, nakuna sohlon na konda damay dem jangi lekol jambolo ya.
Nun yepe dem junkie wall of K. Bayil sunny hair.
Kela kede sani herek.
Wow, bal nalen. Defe, nadal lenen lanu warawatan cha pispa. Lumel ne lek.
Bunu nare waktan chilek. Hana doni wak chireru budak tog cheb chi adina bi.
Senegal al dak chebujan.
Ta Nigeria dakle walai.
So siama waha astafela. Jum gade.
Dede jumuma de. Hena Senegal la chebujen judu. Wante wa Nigeria ko joh dayu bi amte.
Ihulo mondo machibok. Walegi, wahlen man langadef chi wakas pijan.
Wow, ma mom tuki wun nachi. Demom na sama reru chosan cha Nigeria. Kela seti na sama mbok yap.
Man menuma won dem ven. Dahlep de jon.
Lulu meti wona.
Mete won na kay. Well yen. Balehi hamagunu lan lanoi watan chabispa.
Wow, Harlan. Kian la bispa?
Defe na ayubes bidinyala.
Did it. Bispa Dilla?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, wonderful. Let's clap for them. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That was a nice presentation too. And we want to move ahead now. I really didn't know what was in the message. I just got one word, corona, but it looks like there was a message similar to the one that was presented by the 4 or 6 group. I'm not sure though. Now, we are glad to have one of our Wolf guest artists. Please, I welcome you to the ground.
We need Yanama to turn their camera the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jabali isn't performing yet. This is Yanama.
Okay.
And they need to turn their camera. It's currently sideways.
Mm-hmm. So are you able to communicate to them?
I think they can hear me.
Okay.
You want us to turn our camera
Sideways?
Not Jabali, it's Yenema who's performing now.
So-
Jabali, you're good.
Chad, I think you just need to move your camera a little bit. Elle est inversée. Nous arrivons à vous voir, mais la caméra est inversée. Il faut la redresser quoi, verticalement. Présentement, vous êtes en... Voilà.
Yeah,
Voilà. OK.
perfect.
Okay, are we there yet, or we can move on and then come back to him?
I think they're ready. Just unmute, yeah.
Hello?
Okay,
I think they are ready.
perfect.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about the song, and then you go ahead before you before you start rapping. Chad and Khalifa.
We go down it. Hi, everybody. My name is Khalifa from Senegal, from Yoruba. I'm an artist, a rapper, activist. Hi.
Hi everyone, this is Chad, member of Kirby, co-founder from the founder of Yanamar as well. So the song that we're gonna perform is called France-Afrique. In that track, we talk about the relationship between France and the rest and the ex-colonies in West Africa. So we talked about how France is still manipulating those countries, how France is still capable to organize coup d'etat in, how France can still able to put someone on the power like Ouattara in Ivory Coast. France is still doing military intervention in those part of the continent. France is the one that will handle the currency that we use, TFA. France is doing so many things in the ex-colonies, multinationals, neo-colonies, and we are speaking their language. Their language is the official one. I heard earlier Samba mentioned that in Senegal we don't study Wolof at the primary school. We don't study Wolof at all. Now that they start doing it at the university, but this is not really something big that we could say like. Even Russia, studying Russia is bigger than studying Wolof in Senegal, which is a shame. So that's pretty much what we are talking about in that track.
Thank you. Go ahead now.
Yes, I think
Blaise Sankara, au fouet de dirigeanté.
Financé, Kadhafi entraîné, France a orchestré,
même politique perpétuée
dans toutes ces colonies, à l'agonie, des tirailleurs, dictateurs,
financé
rébellions,
fouillement
place pions,
guerre bawan
Algérie,
Benghazi, ay conflit fratricide, ñu mu mele, ñu mu mëne, manipuler
le génocide,
ñu mu ñeme, mën a yónnee,
programme homicide, suñu njiiti Maroko taatam,
foulisme place, foulisme place pion, guerre bawan Algérie, Benghazi, ay conflit fratricide, ñu mu mele, ñu mu mëne, fu mu Maroko taatam, Français Kadhafi, yo, Sabamina.
Babylon say we friend them, but under the we know that it's not true at all. Then we have to change the system. Cellule africaine de l'Élysée, avec les réseaux Jacques Foccart, avec clause non publiée, imposé TikTokar, dictateur en Kaboul, censuré, torturé, Fatihou Koumyobé,
comploter,
conspirer, selon l'influence Yobé, ces bandes de malfrats, d'île Kuba, les réseaux passent quoi, mafia, faux pas, la guerre de Biafra, les diamants de Bokassa, diplomatie secrète, blanchir Khalis Tibet, indépendance coup de bœuf, coopération mat de œuf, guerre Rumanda, message, Balga, affaire elf anglo-gars, double feu, double discours, couvre-feu, traité Darfour, humilié conscience. 1000 pays même constat ministre benn sang yónnee armée fële ca Libye mani militaire largué militaire fële ca Mali.
Babylon say we
friend them, but we all know that that's not true. They still manipulate us underneath. Yes,
manipulation.
Jot nañu def lan.
Jot nañu sempi de France damu dalañu jiiti. Dakar bradage foncier du petit fait jiiti. Jot nañu claqué ko au sommet dugg seeni sommet. Le assommé bloqué comprimé.
Li ñuy assommé.
Jot nañu pénal acte technique impliqué ci
crime yi.
Tortionnaires yi.
Mercenaires yi borom malek crime yi.
Militaire,
homme d'affaires yi
nga aussi ni le chini jot na teg
kat sur table xool yi parce que beeg la jàppul loxo bu ñuy tàllal nangu ndimbal dugal moo ñuy dugal jot nañu tàggoog ces femmes yi ngir génn ci crise bi date multinationale yi teg loxo ci biis bi jot nañu ibbi enquête ci seeni paradis fiscaux jël suñu capitaux fexe tàggoog fiasco jot nañu tàggoog fobi dirigeants yi par commis tàggoog sax bu ñuy sawi politique bi lañu vomi. Yo. So that was it. So we have to mention that the hook was made by Omre Zion, so which is a Senegalese artist, very famous.
Thank you.
Wonderful presentation.
Yeah.
Wonderful Unless, I don't know whether there are any questions from the audience regarding your presentation. Mr. Samba.
I think because we are short on time, that's why I asked them to speak about the song at the beginning. So,
okay, wonderful.
Thank you, Chad and Kilifer. Fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like us to move the ball to Swahili 404. They have a presentation about East Africa, a journey to East Africa. So I have Tori and Sarah who will be doing that.
But I don't see Tori and Emma on here.
Yes, you don't see them?
No, if they're here, can they raise their hands up?
They're not there yet?
No, I think we can go to the next performance, which is Fatima and Ibrahim Barry. I actually do have a video.
Okay, wonderful.
So I will just share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Sama téléphone la ñuy utiliser moo tax.
Banana Afrique lam yaa ngi nii aloe vera Afrique mu ngi nii cuura yaa ngi nii lii baax na ci jàngoro bi ci aéroport ba jàngoro corona bi ak beneen xeeti cuura yaa ngi nii yow tey ban nga ci bëggoon
de bëri nga bagage
waaw
suma raka ñaari nit laa bëgg a jëndal bagage
ñaari nit
suma raka bu góor dama ko bëgg a jëndal chemise xaftaan bere taxi lam wala ko dina
lam yaa ngi nii nag lam bu nekk juróom fukki junne la affaire yi moom bu nekk ñaari fukki junne
la loolu seen la di sëriñ bi fa nga waaju waa tere bu ma
waaw
beneen ñaareel
nit ci waxaale
ñaareel nit ki tamit danga ko bëgg a jëndal fan cuuraay
bi nag dañ koy peese kilo bu nekk juróomi junne
sëriñ bi loolu seen la di
waaw joxe léegi ñeneenti junne
wàññi solo ma tuuti
non waaye comme que xoolal yaa ngay jënd ci xaftaan yi di nga jënd ci xaftaan yeeg banaana yeeg gaay waaw mun naa la ko wàññi tuuti waaw ñetti junne kilo xaftaan yi nag moom juróomi junne
mooy laas waaye loolu dafa xaw a cher na teg xam naa ne bagage yi cher naa yooyu ne rek
waaye léegi
ma la bëgg a def client
da ngay peese ñaari kilo mun lay wàññi bii yooyu jëndee ñaari xaftaan ma wàññi la bu nekk ma dafa la ko waaw ñeneenti junne
ñeneenti junne daf ko ñetti junne ma ma yokk suma loxo ni oh dama bëgg a jënd ay yeneen ak yeneen bagage suma
loolu xam nga ne dafa jafe lool waaw léegi léegi de soo bëggee nga jënd banana gam yi ba pare ma defal ko day jënd
léegi xam nga li yow sëriñ ñu seet fu mu nekk nii léegi simis yi ak lam bi ak cuuraay bi moo gën a am importance si man te wax nga ma ne am nga cuuraay Sénégal yi ak cuuraay Gambie waaw cuuraay Gambie mu xam naa ko lool suma yaay daf ko daan taal waaye cuuraay Sénégal yi muy
ay bii neex na lool sax nga xam taa ne qualité bi dafa baax lool yii laa la wax
nii façon matériel la nii
lii wax la lii Amérique la jógee Amérique la nga indee bala nga koo ñëw fii sax Amérique waaw bu la neexee gisoo Amérique la jógee
sëriñ
léegi soxna si
baax na ma seet la bii moom ñaata la
lii comme ni ma ko waxee rek lii soo joxee benn junni pour yu oor yi yu xaalis yi nag joxeel ñeneen ñi téeméer waaw bu ne waaw gan ak lan naa lay jox
sëriñ ba léegi ma dina ñaari simis
waaw
ñaari lam
waaw
benn ñaari kilo cuuraay Gambien ak benn kilo cuuraay sénégalais
waaw
ñaata la moo nekk
soo bii léegi da ngay joxe junne waaye léegi yëpp joxe juróom fukki junne junne waaw yëpp nga yóbbul bi ñetti xaftaan yeeg ak lam yeeg
sëriñ bi loolu dafa métti lool te bëggoon naa rek client yàlla xam na ko bëggoon naa ñëwaat bëggoon naa ren su ma ñëwaatee ma ñëwaat ci yow soo wàññi ko tuuti rek
léegi yow loo mën a fay fan la nga war a fay
wàññi si benn junni ma jël ko
waaw léegi yóbbu yow sama client yow am naa ren naa ko fekk yow léegi yóbbu dama ci nga yóbbu yi ba ma defal ko si mbuus daal
waaw baax na jërëjëf suma xaalis
waaw wéccit gi waaw léegi ma jox la wéccit mën na ok
jërëjëf salaamaaleykum am nga buus wala
waaw am naa buus léegi yëpp sa yëpp la dama si kële naa jox buus jërëjëf
Okay, that was wonderful. Yes. I don't know whether you are able to explain anything there.
No, I can't, but the translation is on the Google, is in the folder that I've shared the link, and there is an English translation of, but it's mostly wasale, which is, banter, market banter. They're transacting and they're haggling and they're, yeah. So I see Tori, and I'm looking for Emma, but Tori's on now.
Okay. Tori's on?
Yes, Tori's here, but I don't see Emma.
Okay, just give them some time. Maybe we can move to the next guest.
And that is Adeyemo, our Yoruba guest artist.
You talking to Demo now?
He's here.
Okay. So Demo, welcome. And I would just ask you kindly to check on the time because we are running behind. And some students seem to be leaving because they have classes. So as you perform, just keep that in mind. Thank you so much and welcome.
Okay, thank you for this privilege. I am very happy to be here. And I have excerpts from the poem that I have written, synergizing the Yoruba cultural belief with the experience of COVID as it has affected some central themes in the Yoruba society. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be showing up the poems and I'm going to recite them.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, I have the poem here, excerpt from COVID-19, and the title is COVID Oluko Oko Gbogbo. which means COVID, the teacher, and the master of all. This poem tries to eulogize COVID because whatever shakes the Yoruba society commands eulogy at some point. Ẹja kíná orí pápá tí ń dẹ́rù bolóko. Ẹja kọ́ wàrà òjò tó balẹ̀ tó sì yagi oko. Ẹja kọ́ mímì tó la gbogbo ilẹ̀ já tí wọ́n sì mì tìtì. Ìwọ ni COVID-19 ìwọ ni. Ìwọ lẹ̀yẹ náà tí ń jóni látẹlẹsẹ̀ sọ ní dalágẹmọ. Ìwọ ni, ìwọ lọkọ gbogbo aláìbalẹ̀ ara. Ìwọ ni, pẹ́pẹ́ ni ọ́, ò ṣe é bá ṣeré yín. Àkekèé ni ọ́, ò ṣe é bá ṣeré káfíìrù kanra. Ẹni tó bá fojú di ọ́, irú wọn ní pọ́njúra lákejì. Ìwọ láfẹ́fẹ́ ìkà tí ń sọ mímí dòkè ẹ̀rìmọ̀ fún yàn. Ọgbọ́ COVID-19 ìwọ ni, kárẹ́ni tá a fẹ́, kámọ́ lè bọni lọ́wọ́. Ìwọ ni, káró lólùfẹ́ ẹni, kámọ́ lè dìmọ́ra ẹni. Ìwọ ni mọ́tótó ipá tí ń kọ́ ọ̀bùn bí wọ́n ti ń fọwọ́ lóòrèkóòrè. Ìwọ la fínjú àrùn tí ń bá fẹ́fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́. Ó wá sọ gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè di bomubomu kí wọ́n máa lóyún ikú sínú, máa ṣóṣó àrùn kalẹ̀. COVID-19 ìwọ ni, òòṣà gbígbóná ọkọ̀ gbogbo onímọ̀ ìṣègùn àgbáyé. Ó ti gbẹbọlé ayé kíran ènìyàn ọmọ kò ọmọ tèfètèfè. So I hope we're able to hear that and we're also able to see my screen. That was the first poem. And then the last poem, I have up to 4 of them, but because of our time, I'm going to go to the last poem, which talks about the lessons that we can learn from COVID-19, affecting our culture, affecting our tradition, affecting our intimacy, and teaching us some cogent things that can help us. So I'm going to be showing my screen to read the last poem, which is COVID.
Adeyemo, we can't see your screen, but I can project it if you want.
Well, please do, if you can. But
and it's the last one, right?
Yes, the last one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good.
So it's this one.
Yes.
Okay. You can start.
Yes, you can zoom it, or I show it from here. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. Ọgbọ́n dá gbogbo ayé, onímọ̀ ju gbogbo ènìyàn. Dìgírì rẹ̀ kọjá tọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀kọ́ rẹ̀ ju ti sáyẹ́ǹsì lọ. COVID olùkọ́. Ó ti bomi ọgbọ́n ju gbogbo ilẹ̀ láìpẹ́bì kan. Èèyàn tó bá kọ́ tí ò bá kọ́gbọ́n lọ́wọ́ COVID ò lè gbọ́n mọ́. Gbogbo ayé lọ bá ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tó kàn ló mọ̀ kọ́ mọ̀nà kàì. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. Ó ti kọ́ wa wípé ayé ti lu jára. Kò síkú funfun àbí dúdú. Kò sẹ́ni táìsàn lè ṣe káyé fàwọ̀ wòye ẹ̀mí. Ó ti fi hàn wá wípé bíntín láyé. Ohun tá a sá fún nílé ó lè má burú tó ohun tó ń dúró deni sílẹ̀ lóko. Ibi ọkàn ènìyàn bá ti balẹ̀ pé a lè pè ní ibùdó fún yàn láì fọ̀rọ̀gùn. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. Ó ti kọ́ wa bí a ti tọ́jú oúnjẹ sílẹ̀ dọjọ́ ebi. Ó ní ká máa pọnmi sílẹ̀ dògbẹ káyé fi gbogbo ọwọ́ jẹun bí ẹni ebi ń jẹun lẹ́kùlé ẹ̀. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. Ó ti kọ́ wa wípé èèyàn láṣọ èèyàn. Bá a bá ríra lónìí, ayọ̀ mọ́ra ẹni, ó lè dọ̀la ká má lè rí èèyàn mọ́. Ẹlẹ́mìí ó ti gbẹ̀mí ẹ̀. Ó ti kọ́ ọ̀bùn ní ìmọ́tótó ipá. Ó ti kọ́ oníkutukutu bí wọ́n ti ń panu mọ́. Ó ti kọ́ gẹ̀rẹ́ ilé fìrí òde wípé bá a bá balẹ̀ jẹ́ tán òde lè mọ́ gbáàyàn wípé ọ̀nà gan lè nà yẹn padà sọ́ọ̀dẹ̀. COVID-19 ni olùkọ́. Ó ti kọ́ wa wípé Lédùà nìkan lolùgbani. Ọba orílẹ̀-èdè ò lè gbà wá. Oníṣègùn gan-an àbàìsàn nímú. Ó wá kó gbogbo ènìyàn Sínú ẹ̀kọ́, owó kò rẹ̀ mí, owó pọ̀ kò rẹ̀ mí, ọgbọ́n sọrí kọ́, technology gan fẹ́ẹ̀lì dànù. So before I go, I would like to say that COVID has taught us a lot of lessons, and in the Yoruba cosmological beliefs, they believe strongly that our society learns a lot from whatever happens to shake us. I'm going to sing a song, and it's going to replicate what a Yoruba group of hunters could have sung. If you do kere, if you do kere, if you do kere, if you do kere, a ò ní rí COVID-19 mọ́ nílẹ̀ wa. If you do kere, ká mọ́ rí COVID-19 nílẹ̀ wa. If you do kere. Thank you so very much. Thanks for this.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Can we give him a clap of hand? Okay. Thank you so much for your performance. And there's a lot. I think that the language helps us to relay the message right into the communities, especially in our communities. And I think you're using all kinds of skills to make sure the message reaches the community. So thank you so much for that performance. Unless there's any question, I think he has already explained what the poem was all about. I would like us to move to the next presentation.
We have Olivia and Sarah for Swahili 42001.
Okay, perfect. If they're in, they can move on to the platform now.
And they have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Sarah and I will be asking each other questions to see whether we'd be good fits for roommates.
Okay. Howdy, howdy.
Karibu, hujambo?
Si jambo, habari gani?
Nzuri, na wewe?
Zuri, uniitwaje?
Mimi ninaitwa Olivia, jina langu la Kiswahili ni Tabasamu. Na wewe?
Mimi ninaitwa Sarah, jina langu la Kiswahili ni Basma.
Unatoka wapi?
Mimi ninatoka mji wa Asheville, jimbo la Carolina Kaskazini. Na wewe?
Mimi ninatoka mji wa Raleigh. Wewe ni raia wa nchi gani?
Mimi ni Marekani. Na wewe?
Mimi ni Mkenya na pia ni Marekani. Unazungumza lugha gani?
Ninazungumza lugha ya Kiingereza na Kiswahili kidogo. Na wewe?
Ninazungumza lugha ya Kiingereza, Kiswahili kidogo na Kikikuyu kidogo. Unasoma wapi?
Ninasoma katika chuo kikuu cha Carolina Kaskazini, mji wa Chapel Hill. Na wewe?
Ninasoma katika chuo kikuu cha Carolina Kaskazini, mji wa Chapel Hill. Unaishi wapi?
Ninaishi katika mji wa Chapel Hill, barabara ya Rosemary, nyumbani namba 512. Na wewe?
Ninaishi katika mji wa Chapel Hill, Hinton James.
Unataka kuishi wapi Wankani?
Ninataka kuishi bwenini. Napenda Carmichael. Na wewe?
Nataka kuishi bwenini. Napenda Alderman Connor. Unajifunza masomo gani?
Ninajifunza somo la kemia na anthropolojia. Na wewe?
Ninajifunza somo la Kiswahili na biolojia.
Wewe hufanya nini wakati wa starehe?
Wakati wa starehe, mimi na marafiki wangu tunapenda kucheza michezo ya kadi. Tunacheza hearts, spades na jenrami. Mimi hushinda kila wakati. Wakati wa starehe napenda kusoma vitabu na kutembelea marafiki. Unacheza michezo?
Ndio, nacheza michezo ya kadi. Ninapenda slapjack lakini sipendi hearts. Wakati wa starehe mimi ninapenda mchezo wa kuogelea. Ninaogelea kwenye bwawa katika nyumbani. Wakati wa joto ninaenda baharini. Napenda kuogelea baharini. Napenda pia kucheza mpira wa mkono baharini. Una wanyama wangani?
Nina mbwa. Jina la mbwa wangu ni Abby. Abi analala sana na abi ni mpole na wewe?
Sina kipenzi lakini ninaogopa mbwa. Mbwa wako hapaswi kuja. Je, unataka kuishi na mimi? Tafadhali nipe nambari ya simu.
Ninayo simu lakini sitakupa nambari yake kwa sababu hupendi michezo yangu ya kadi mbwa wangu.
Sawa, asante. Kwaheri.
Kwaheri.
That's about it.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a clap. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. I think you gathered some information about how they want to be friends and live in the same dormitory, but due to the dog and the and that is not possible. Okay, let's move to the next presentation.
There's Tori here, but I wonder if she and Emma are here. If Tori,
yes.
Are they ready? If not, we can go to Jabali.
Okay, you can see Emma.
I'm chatting with Emma, but I haven't gotten a response. So I think we can go to Jabali.
Okay, we can move there straight.
Oh, Tori's ready. I'm sorry. So you guys put on your camera, please. Tori. Emma. Okay. Emma is ready, not Tori.
Emma is ready and Tori is also there.
So
this is Emma. I don't know why my name says Tori, but this is Emma.
Okay. Is Tori around? Is Tori around? Okay, go ahead, Emma.
I'm not sure where Tori is.
Okay, do you want to go ahead yourself if you can play both parts or no?
I can do both parts.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hamjambo, mimi ninaitwa Emma, karibuni, hujambo, sijambo, habari gani, nzuri, mimi ninarudi kutoka kutembelea Kenya. Ulitembelea mji gani Kenya? Mimi nilitembelea mji wa Nairobi wa Kisumu. Safari ya ndege ilikuwa masaa 21 kwenda Kenya. Tulifika Nairobi usiku. Nchi ya Kenya iko upande wa mashariki Afrika. Baadaye niliendesha gari kwa hoteli. Siku iliyofuata nilienda Masai Mara. Safari ulikuwa masaa 10. Niliona wanyama wengi na mti mengi. Sawa, wewe ulifanya nini hapo? Nilizunguka na gari kuona wanyama. Niliona simba, ndovu na kifaru. Simba wanatembea pamoja. Ndovu walikula chakula kingi. Niliona ndovu na watoto wao. Sawa, ninataka kutembelea Kenya. Vizuri sana. Unahitaji kupata passporti na permiti kwenda Kenya. Asanteni.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emma, for playing both parts. Thank you so much. Okay, that is a brief poem regarding Emma going to Kenya and whatever she saw in Kenya. So, and a friend is asking her how the friend could go to Kenya. And Emma responded that she needed the passport to get visa before going to Kenya and see those animals too.
Tori had apparently been in somewhere. Sorry, Tori. Do you want to go ahead and share, or?
Tori is was to share the same.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Emma went together. I've been here the whole time, and I don't. Yeah, so I think something happened with the Zoom. I couldn't speak; it wouldn't let me. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. You've been well represented.
Asante sana.
All right, we're ready for Jabali.
Yes. Jabali If you are there, Jabali, the field is yours now.
Habari zenyu? Ujambo. We are Jabali Africa, and we are from Nairobi, Kenya. The band was formed in 1993, and the song we're going to do is called Aoko. And before we do Aoko, I'm going to introduce the members of the band. Right here is Justo Otongo Asikoe on guitar. Jambo. Right here is Yawezekana Strong.
Yeah.
Jina langu ni Jose Kasikoe. So nyimbo hii inaitwa Aoko. Aoko is a song that I wrote and is about a beautiful woman. The story behind Aoko was, Aoko is my mother's name, and I was making fun of my mother, but also I was showing love to my mother. So Aoko.
Yeah.
Nimepanda milima, ona mabonde, nimepita misitu na nikaogelea kwenye mito na bahari. Aoko, aoko, aoko. Nimekutana vibusa kwenye nyuso zinazong'aa, kwenye mito maziwa, kwenye macho kodori, kwenye mwanya mdomo. Aoko, aoko, aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko, nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Uko wapi wewe? Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Fikiria Aoko, siri wala sisikii, sura yako inatabasamu, roho nayo haiduni, bali hurukaruka. Aoko, 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 aoko. O mwana mere, o mwana mayeye, shipenzi ya mwana shingo kutwa. O mwana swere, o mwana yodide. Aoko, aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko, nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Uko wapi wewe? Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko, sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I was vibing here.
That was a nice performance.
Yes.
Do they have another one to present?
Yes, this next one.
Okay, okay. You still have some time.
Okay. Should we go on with the next one?
Yes, please, just go ahead. You still have some time.
Okay, so this next one is called, we always gotta introduce.
Yes, here is Yawezekana Strong. I'm a musician here in Culture Hub, and I'm going to sing for you Tushirikiane Africa. It's a song which is unites all Africa together.
You're calling for African unity.
I know you are my brothers, and I greet you. Yeah.
Africa, Africa, one love, one love, one love, one love, one love, one love. Nchi inalindwa na askari na raia, sote tunafanya kazi moja ya kulinda urithi na mali tulizowachimba na wababu zetu. Tusibachukiana, kutengana, yani kuuana, wakati walitugawa kwa njia za ukoloni, ilisababisha maadui wapate nafasi ya kupora hiyo mali. Sasa hii ni sisi tuna jukumu ya kulinda urithi kutoka kwa wababu zetu. Wezi ni wengi kutoka kila mtaa na wanadai Afrika. Afrika ni moja, ni taifa moja, tafuta amani from mbele, mbele. Afrika ni moja, ni taifa moja, tafuta amani moja mbele, tutasonga mbele, mbele. Tushirikiane, Afrika, tuwe na umoja, Afrika, tuwe na upendo, Afrika, one love, one love, one love, one love, one love, one love.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. We thank you so much for your presentations and the teachings that you have in the songs. Okay, we would like to move to the next presentation.
We have students from Swahili forward to section 2. And I
Yes.
think that they are all able to turn on their cameras. If there's a member who is not able to, can you raise your hand so I can see you and permit you to be able to turn your camera on? I think this is everyone, right?
I should think so.
Yeah.
Darasa la Mwalimu Mwamzandi. Hamjambo. Mimi naitwa David. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Daudi na ninasomea elimu Vyombe.
Ninaitwa Caroline. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Nema. Ninasomea sosiolojia.
Mimi ninaitwa Kelly. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Zuhura na ninasomea sayansi ya bahari.
Mimi ninaitwa Jared. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Masika. Ninasomea masomo ya mazingira.
Mimi ninaitwa Nikki. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Boni na ninasomea falsafa na saikolojia.
Mimi ninaitwa Amira. Jina langu la Kiswahili ni Lulu. Ninasomea sayansi ya siasa na michezo.
Mimi ninaitwa Sandra na jina langu la Kiswahili ni Amina. Ninasomea saikolojia. Leo tunazungumzia Kenya.
Watu wengi Kenyani wanaongea Kiswahili zaidi. Kiswahili ni lingua franca ya Kenya. Makao mkuu ya Kenya ni Nairobi. Watu wengi wanapenda kutembelea mji wa Mombasa kwa sababu uko karibu na bahari. Hii ni bendera ya Kenya. Yeye ni nyekundu, kijani na bluu. Kenyani hali ya hewa ni mvua mwezi wa 3 na mwezi wa 6. Hali ya hewa pwani ni moto mwaka wote.
Nazungumzia misimu. Masika ni msimu wa mvua nyingi. Masika huanza mwezi wa 3 hadi mwezi wa 6. Wakati huu hali ya hewa huwa ni baridi kiasi. Wakulima hupanda mimea na miti na nyasi hustawi sana. Baada ya masika msimu unafuata ni kipupwe. Msimu huu huanza mwezi wa 6 mpaka mwezi wa 7. Huu ni wakati ambao huwa kuna upepo mkali na baridi. Msimu wa vuli huanza mwezi wa 9 hadi mwezi wa 12. Wakulima hupanda mbegu za mimea ya mazao ya muda mfupi kama vile maharage, kunde na viazi tamu. Msimu wa kiangazi huanza mwezi wa 12 hadi mwezi wa 3. Wakati huu hali ya hewa ni joto sana. Hakuna theluji nchini Kenya.
Wanyama: Simba, twiga, kifaru, duma, pundamilia na ndovu. Simba ni walinzi wa eneo, twiga wana urefu, kifaru ni mnyama mkubwa sana, duma ana mbio sana, pundamilia wana milia ya rangi nyeupe na nyeusi, ndovu ni werevu.
Chakula. Watu katika Kenya wanapenda kula ugali, pilau, maharagwe, chapati, samosa na biryani. Watu katika Marekani wanapenda kula supu ya nyanya, kuku wa kukanga, pie ya tofaa, pizza na cheeseburger. Wote hunywa pombe, kahawa na chai. Wote hula nyama, mboga, mananasi, keki na maharage. Chakula ninapenda zaidi ni supu ya nyanya. Chakula cha Wakenya ninachopenda kula ni pilau.
Michezo. Watu wengi katika nchini Kenya wanapenda kutazama na kucheza michezo. Watu wa Kenya wanapenda kandanda, mpira wa kikapu, mpira wa wavu, netiboli na kukimbia. Wanapenda kandanda zaidi. Nchi ya Kenya ina timu ya kitaifa ya kandanda. Timu hiyo inaitwa Harambee Stars. Lakini watu wa Kenya hushinda zaidi katika mbio za masafa marefu.
Kujistarehesha. Wakati wa starehe wa Kenya huenda ufuoni kwa sababu bahari ya Hindi ni karibu. Watu wengi pia huenda milimani. Kuna milima mingi katika Kenya. Pia Wakenya hupenda kucheza na kuimba pamoja na familia na marafiki.
Wakenya wengi ni Wakristo au Waislamu. Wakristo husherehekea Krismasi na Pasaka na Waislamu husherehekea Idi. Wakenya pia husherehekea sherehe za kitaifa kama vile siku ya Jamhuri, tarehe 12 mwezi wa 12. Watu husherehekea mwaka mpya kwa kufanya party ufuoni, kucheza na muziki. Asante sana na kwaheri.
Oh, asante sana pia. Hebu tuwapigie makofi. Let's clap, give them a hand. Oh.
Awesome.
I was carried away a little bit and I started speaking in Swahili. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Okay. I think we
have Dr. Tulube Dairo's performance, which is, and that's our last guest performance for this activity.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dr. Tulube Dairo, please, you are welcome and take the stage.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I want to greet everybody. Good afternoon on this wonderful occasion. My name is Tulube Dairo. I'm from Nigeria. And I'm going to be presenting Ewi. Just 2 lines about Ewi. Ewi is a performance, it's a rendition, it's a part of Yoruba poetry, a genre of Yoruba poetry. It borders between oral and written literature. So you can't have oral Ewi without a written form of it. So today I'm going to be chanting which ewi comes in. Is either you chant ewi or you sing it. So my presentation today borders between the chanting and the singing of ewi. Etetio kegbori ewi mi, etetio kegbori ewi o. Etetio kegbori ewi mi, etetio kegbori ewi o. Ìgbà tí ń bá lọ tán kó má dáríyàjiyàn. Ìgbà tí ń bá lọ tán kó má dáríyàjiyàn. Ẹ tẹ́tí o kẹ́gbórí ewì o. Mo kí gbogbo alàgbà tí ń bẹ lórí ìjókòó, mo kí ọmọdé, mo sì tún kí àgbà. Mo kí gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti olùkọ́ ti ilé ìwé University of North Carolina. Mo kí yín pé ẹ kú ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ òní o, ẹ kú ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ èdè abínibí àti àṣà ti ilẹ̀ ọmọ Áfíríkà. Ayẹyẹ náà yóò bá yín kalẹ̀ o. Àkọlé ewì mi lọ́jọ́ òní, òun ni àlejò tí a ò fẹ́, èyí tí a ń pè ní coronavirus. The title of my ewi today is The Uninvited Guest, which I name as coronavirus. Àsìkò tó fún mi láti wá tẹ̀síwájú nínú orin ewì mi. Igi láńgó orin ni mo gbé dé, ẹ wá gbọ́rin ewì tuntun. Gbogbo àgbáyé ni mo fẹ́ kọrin ewì sí létí. Gbogbo ọmọ ilé ìwé University of North Carolina ni mo fẹ́ forin ewì ta lọ́rẹ. Ẹ yá mi létí yín kí n lè kọrin ewì sí. Ìjìnlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo wá gbé yọ nínú ẹ̀mí tó tún wá farahàn nínú ìṣe. Ìjìnlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ lọ́jọ́ òní ó lè múni lákọ òtútù. Ìdí nìyí tí wọ́n gbà yín nímọ̀ràn kẹ́ ẹ gbágbádá òtútù yín wọ̀ kẹ́ ẹ lè fi gbòtútù. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́jọ́ òní ó dáwọ́ lérí àlejò ńlá, àlejò pàtàkì tí a gbà níjọ́ kìíní àná. Ó ṣe bí ọdún kan àbọ̀ sẹ́yìn pàtó ní oṣù kọkànlá ọdún kan dín ní okòóléníẹgbàá, èyí tí àwọn elédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ń pè ní November 2019. Àlejò tí a ò fẹ́, tí a ò rí, tí a ò pè, tí a ò retí, àlejò tí ń ṣẹ̀rù bani. Wéré ló wọlé tọ̀ gbogbo ọmọ ẹ̀dá Ádámọ̀, wéré ló wọlé tọ̀ gbogbo ọmọ ẹ̀dá bí olè tí wọlé tọ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀dá ní ọ̀gànjọ́ òru. Àlejò bí irú ẹ̀ ò sí láyé, àlejò tí ń fa rògbòdìyàn ní gbogbo àgbáyé ni. Àlejò tí yóò yí ìpàṣẹ àti ìgbésí ayé ọmọ ẹ̀dá dà, àlejò tí yóò yí gbogbo ohun tí ọmọ ẹ̀dá ń ṣe, pàápàá jùlọ àjọṣepọ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀dá. Àmọ́ ṣá o, Elédùà mi kò wá dá ọmọ ẹ̀dá sílẹ̀ sílé ayé láti máa dá nìkan wá líolíó, láti máa ya ara wọn sọ́tọ̀, èyí tí à ń pè ní human isolation. Kábíyèsí mi ó dá ọmọ ẹ̀dá sílẹ̀ láti máa bára wọn ṣe pọ̀ ní, èyí tí a mọ̀ sí human socialization. Àmọ́ ṣá o, ṣé rí socialization yìí a máa ń fa àlejò burúkú wá sí àárín ẹgbẹ́, wá sí àárín ọ̀rẹ́, wá sí aládùúgbò àti olújúlùmọ̀. Ẹ̀bùn wá bí mi lérè pé kí ni ojútùú ẹ̀ ṣe rè, kí ni ojútùú àlejò yìí gan-an? Isolation, ìyára ẹni sọ́tọ̀, òun gan-an lójútùú ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà wá ń pani lẹ́rìn o. Ní apá kìíní, ìyára ẹni sọ́tọ̀ tí a kò dá ọmọ ẹ̀dá fún, òun lójútùú ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ní apá kejì, human socialization tá a dá ọmọ ẹ̀dá fún gan-an, òun ló máa ń fa àlejò burúkú wá sáàárín ẹbí. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà wá sọ sí ni lẹ́nu, ó tún wá búyọ sí. Ìsọ̀rẹ́ kò ṣeé gbé mì, iyọ̀rẹ́ kò ṣeé tú dànù, págà ọ̀rọ̀ náà ṣe ni ní kàyéfì. Ẹ̀bùn wá bí mi lérè pé kí ni àlejò yìí gan-an tí ń ṣẹ̀rù bá ní, tí ń halẹ̀ mọ́ ni? Coronavirus, òun làlejò náà, àlejò tí ń ṣẹ̀rù bá ní. Àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn tó ń kárí gbogbo ayé, àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn tó kún gbogbo ayé. Kòkòrò tó ayọ́kẹ́lẹ́ tó wọnú gbogbo ìgbésí ayé ọmọ ẹ̀dá, kòkòrò tí ò gbé gbòógì, kòkòrò tí ò gbé gbóògùn. Orí mi tì mí lẹ́yìn, má mà jẹ́ irógun àrùn pàjáwìrì o, má mà jẹ́ irógun àrùn tí ò gbowó, àrùn tí ò gbòbì, àrùn tí ò gba ròsá, àrùn tí ò gba ta. Sáyẹ́ǹsì o, sáyẹ́ǹsì o, ògbóǹtagìrì, akọni níjọ́ ogúnlé. Sáyẹ́ǹsì á máa sọ̀rọ̀ bí ọ̀pẹ́ rẹ̀ láì bìkítà àsìkò tàbí ẹnikẹ́ni. Sáyẹ̀nsì á máa ṣàlàyé gbogbo ohun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílé ayé, gbogbo ohun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọmọ ẹ̀dá. Àwa pè sáyẹ̀nsì á pè é títí. Sáyẹ̀nsì wá pa lọ́lọ́, ó dàbí adití ọ̀sán gan. Sáyẹ̀nsì ní òun ò ríro eléyìí rí o, ṣùgbọ́n àrírú ẹ̀rí àfi ń dẹ́rù bọ lọ́rọ̀ ni, kò sóhun tuntun tí ń bọ lábẹ́ òrùn. Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní abẹ́rẹ́ bọ́ lọ́wọ́ adẹ́tẹ̀ ó dètè, ọ̀ràn balẹ̀ ó dèrò. Èyí túmọ̀ sí wípé àwọn ìṣòro míì wà nílé ayé tó máa ń gbà kí a fọwọ́ líle mú un. Ọwọ́ líle yìí ó kó gbogbo àgbáyé, ó kó wọn sínú ìrònú, ó kó wọn sínú, wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń pọ̀pọ̀. Tó kòrónà o, mo ní àtìrẹ́yìn ọ̀tá àtìrẹ́yìn odi, àtìrẹ́yìn ọ̀tá àtìrẹ́yìn odi, afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́ àti rí fùrọ̀ adìyẹ. Àjọṣepọ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀dá ó gba ọmọ ẹ̀dá sílẹ̀. Ọmọ ẹ̀dá wá gbàgbé wípé wọ́n ní baba nígbẹ́jọ́, wọ́n ní baba tí ń gbanigbani, gbanigbani tí ń gbani lọ́jọ́ ikú, gbanigbani tí ń gbọmọ lọ́jọ́ ìṣòro, oníṣègùn tí ń wo gba àrùn sàn, oníṣègùn tí ń wo gba àrùn sàn. Kábíyèsí mi, ó fi ohun ìní, ó fi ta ọmọ ẹ̀dá lọ́rẹ. Ó ta ọmọ ẹ̀dá ní ẹ̀mí ìfẹ́, ẹ̀mí ìbára ẹni lò pọ̀, ẹ̀mí àjọṣepọ̀ inú ọ̀kan ṣoṣo. Ẹ̀mí àjọṣepọ̀ yìí òun ló gba ọmọ ẹ̀dá sílẹ̀. Torí Yorùbá ní Elédùà ní kájọ wò ó, ohun tá a bá jọ wò gígùn ní gún. Mo ní àjọwò, ohun tí a bá jọ wò gígùn ní gún. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, torí àdánìkan rìn ejò, òun là ń fàdá pa. Tó kábíyèsí o, aláyélúwà, ọba tí kìí kú, ọba tí kìí sùn, àdàgbà bá pààrọ̀ oyè, ó gba ọmọ ẹ̀dá sílẹ̀. Tó sáyẹ́nsì o, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín fún oore tí ẹ ṣe fún gbogbo àgbáyé, ṣe rí di coronavirus. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn onímọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ sáyẹ́nsì tí wọ́n sowọ́pọ̀, tí wọ́n rí vaccination. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Corona o, àsìkò tó ní mo ní kó wá máa kẹ́ni ẹ, kó wá máa lọ. Àtìlẹ́yìn ọ̀tá, àtìlẹ́yìn odi, àtìlẹ́yìn coronavirus. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, wọ́n ní tó àsìkò tó fún mi ò kí wọ́n máa relé. Àsìkò tó fún mi kí wọ́n máa kẹ́ni ewì ní kí wọ́n máa lọ. Tó wọ́n ní àjò kìí dùn kí onílé má relé. Àjò kìí dùn kí ọdẹ kó má rèwó. Àsìkò tó fún mi kí wọ́n máa lọ. Àmọ́ ṣá o, tí wọ́n bá ṣèṣì bí yín léèrè wípé ta ni arábìnrin tó sun orin ewì sí yín létí, if they ask you, who is that lady that chanted ewì rendition? It is me. Orúkọ mi ni Dr. Tulube Dairo, ọmọ wọn ní ilé Akíntan, aya wọn ní ilé Dairo. Ìlú Èkó la bí mi sí, ibẹ̀ la sì tún wò mí dàgbà. Àmọ́ ṣá o, wọ́n fi orí bàbá mi sọlẹ̀ ní ìlú Ìdọ̀rẹ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo. Bàbá mi, ibẹ̀ la fẹ́ borí sọlẹ̀ bàbá mi sí. Tó Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní a kì í fọwọ́ òsì júwèlé bàbá ẹni tó bí mi lọ́mọ, aṣiwèrè ló ń fọwọ́ òsì júwèlé bàbá ẹ̀. Ìdí nìyí tí mo fẹ́ júwa bàbá mi tó dá mi sílé ayé tó sùn tí wò mí dàgbà. Bàbá mi o, olóyè àgbààgbà ọjọ́mọlúdà, ìpẹ̀rì, eléwó yọbọjọ́, alábàdí òtò pọjà, ọ̀bọ ọlọ́mẹ̀tú, ọmọ làdẹ́gẹ̀dẹ̀, ọmọ ògèdè sọ gbàgídígbàgọ́, ọmọ gbọ́wọ́ olúṣọ̀wọ́n tù. Àbá mi ò mọ́júbà ẹ́ o, ìdílé bàbá mi láti forí ewì ìtamílọ́rẹ. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín tẹ́ ẹ yá mi létí yín kí n lè kọrí ewì sí. Etí náà ò ní di láíláí, etí náà ò ní bàjẹ́, etí náà ò ní ṣàìsàn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Thank you very much.
Let's give our hand.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. It looks like there was a very strong message there about Corona. So we really appreciate for your performance. Yeah. And I just want to thank everybody who has presented. And this time I want to hand over the meeting to the Associate Director, Ada Umewaliri.
Good try.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in and participating in this, our first virtual language fair. This is not the first language fair. It's happened every year since the center, I think, started. And the last fair we had was physical. And this is our first virtual fair. I want to thank the College of Arts and Sciences for all the support. Special thank you to the AAAD department, especially Professor Eunice Saleh and the language professors for working with me to make this come to life. I also want to thank the artists. Some of them have gone off the call. And it's, it was just a fantastic performance, very energizing, very informative, and just rich of the African culture that we have. Also want to thank the FLTAs for their working with us on this, for their role and their efforts as well. And I want to thank FSU University for this partnership with teaching and offering Yoruba, making it available to our students. Lastly, I want to ask if you're currently not signed up for our newsletter, get on our website and sign up for it. Follow us on social media. Our handle is UNC-Africa. This video will be uploaded on our YouTube page for those who want to reference it in the future, and it would have a link to the translations. Tolu's performance, her every performance is actually on the Google Share file, and you would see the English translation of her rendition.
I'll provide that.
I think that is it. So we're looking forward to next year. Hopefully our 2022 language fair would be physical. I also feel like I'm enjoying virtual a lot as well. So who knows? So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Dr. Beria, Dr. Kamara, Dr. Wanzandi. We need a female language professor. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a good day. We've gone over like 10 minutes, but I want to say thank you. And have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much too.